The morning of March 11th, 2011, began like any other on Japan's northeast coast. The sun rose gently over the fishing villages, casting a golden glow on the tranquil waters. Fishermen prepared their boats, children readied for school, and shopkeepers opened their doors unaware that their world was about to change forever. Life moved with a familiar rhythm, the kind that makes disaster seem impossible. But by afternoon, everything changed. The earth began to tremble, at first a subtle vibration, then a violent, relentless shaking that shattered the calm. Buildings swayed, windows rattled, and panic swept through the streets as people scrambled for safety. In a matter of minutes, the ordinary had become extraordinary and terrifying. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck under the sea, unleashing a tsunami that roared towards Fukushima. The ocean, once a source of life and livelihood, transformed into a force of unimaginable destruction. Walls of water, some towering over 40 feet, surged inland, swallowing everything in their path. Homes, cars, entire neighborhoods, leaving devastation in their wake. Walls of water smashed into the Daiichi nuclear power plant, flooding its defenses. The plant, designed to withstand earthquakes and tsunamis, faced a disaster far beyond its worst-case scenarios. Water breached barriers, inundating critical systems and setting off a chain of events that would soon grip the world's attention. What happened next would alter the course of nuclear history. The world watched in disbelief as the crisis unfolded minute by minute on live television. The unthinkable was happening in real time. As the waves receded, the plant's emergency generators, crucial for cooling the reactors, were knocked out. Without power, the cooling systems failed, and the temperature inside the reactors began to climb. Engineers raced against time, improvising solutions with limited resources, but the situation was spiraling out of control. Without power, the reactors overheated. Pressure built up inside the reactor vessels, and the threat of a catastrophic meltdown loomed larger with every passing hour. The control room, once a place of routine, became a battleground for survival. Hydrogen gas built up, and one by one, 3 explosions shattered the facility. The blasts sent shockwaves through the plant, tearing apart buildings and scattering radioactive debris. The world watched in horror as plumes of smoke rose from the shattered reactors. Plumes of radioactive steam drifted into the sky, carried by winds over towns and farmlands. Invisible, odorless and deadly, the radiation spread uncertainty and fear far beyond the plant's walls. Farmers abandoned their fields, and entire communities faced the threat of contamination. In the chaos, hundreds of thousands were evacuated. Families were separated, and roads clogged with cars as people fled, desperate to escape the invisible danger. Schools, gymnasiums, and community centers became makeshift shelters, filled with uncertainty and anxiety. Families left their homes behind, unsure if they'd ever return. Belongings were hastily packed, pets left behind, and memories abandoned in the rush to safety. The sense of loss was overwhelming, and the future uncertain. The world watched, holding its breath, as engineers battled to prevent a full-scale meltdown. Working in hazardous conditions, these men and women became heroes, risking their lives to stabilize the reactors and contain the disaster. Their courage and determination became a symbol of hope amid the chaos. But what of the aftermath? The disaster left a haunting silence in its wake. Streets once filled with laughter and life now stood empty. Playgrounds abandoned, and the echoes of the past lingered in the air. Even today, the scars remain. Cracked buildings and empty fields serve as reminders of the day when everything changed. Nature has begun to reclaim what was lost, but the wounds run deep. Vast exclusion zones surround the plant, marked by abandoned houses and fields reclaimed by wild boar and overgrown grass. Once thriving communities have become ghost towns where wildlife now roams freely. And the passage of time is measured by the growth of weeds and the decay of buildings. Radiation lingers, invisible and persistent. It seeps into the soil, the water and the air, a constant reminder of the disaster's legacy. For many, the fear of what cannot be seen is the hardest to overcome. The cleanup is a Herculean task estimated to take decades. Specialized teams work around the clock, using advanced technology and sheer determination to dismantle the damaged reactors and contain the contamination. Thousands of workers in protective suits labor daily, removing contaminated soil and dismantling unstable reactors. Their work is dangerous and exhausting, but essential for the region's recovery. Each shovelful of earth, each bolt removed, is a step toward healing. Giant tanks line the site, filled with radioactive water that must be managed year after year. The challenge of storing and treating this water is immense, and the debate over its eventual release continues to spark controversy and concern, both in Japan and around the world. For the people of Fukushima, life was divided into before and after. The disaster left a mark not just on the land, but on the hearts and minds of its people. Memories of the past mingle with hopes for the future, as residents struggle to rebuild their lives and their communities. Some towns have reopened, but not everyone dares return. The fear of radiation, the loss of community, and the trauma of evacuation linger. For many, the place they once called home now feels unfamiliar, changed forever by disaster. Trust, once shaken, is difficult to restore. The bond between people and place, between community and government, has been tested in ways few could have imagined. Rebuilding trust is a slow, uncertain process. Globally, the disaster forced a reckoning. Countries revisited nuclear policies. Safety standards were strengthened. The world's relationship with nuclear energy was forever altered, as nations weighed the risks and benefits of harnessing such immense power. But the question remains, can we ever truly control such immense power? The events at Fukushima serve as a sobering reminder of the limits of human technology in the face of nature's fury. Fukushima's story isn't just about catastrophe. It's also about resilience, about the strength of communities coming together in the face of unimaginable loss. Survivors gather to remember, to mourn, and to rebuild, finding hope in the simple act of moving forward. It's a reminder: nature's force is unpredictable, and our technologies, however advanced, are not infallible. The lessons of Fukushima echo far beyond Japan, challenging us to rethink our relationship with the natural world and the technologies we create. As the sun rises over Fukushima today, it shines on both tragedy and resilience. The landscape bears the scars of disaster, but also the marks of recovery: new homes, rebuilt schools, and the quiet determination of those who refuse to give up. The aftershocks, both physical and emotional, continue to ripple through history. For every survivor, every family, the memory of that day is never far away. The journey to healing is long, but it is marked by courage and hope. This is the legacy of Fukushima, lessons written in steel and silence, in hope and in warning. It is a story that reminds us of our vulnerability, our resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit to rise, rebuild, and remember.